Hello, my name is Andre V and I'm the founder of Parcel Locker Central, and today I'm here with Tadej Visinsky from Direct For Me. Hi Tadej, how are you doing?
Hello, Andre. Nice to see you and nice to have you with us today in Slovenia. I think we are going to have some interesting discussions. So.
Sure. Yesterday I had a walk from my hotel to the city center that was 3.5 kilometers long, and I spotted 7 parcel lockers on that distance. So Slovenia and Ljubljana is pretty crowded with the lockers. Or was I lucky?
Yeah, most probably you were lucky because you were approaching the city center. Of course, the urban area where the problem with parcel delivery is, of course, the biggest. There are quite a few lockers, but I think, speaking of Slovenia, we are only in the beginning of the development, especially if we are comparing it to countries that have the highest number or density of the lockers, like the Czech Republic, Finland, Poland. So there's still plenty of room and a lot of developments going on. Maybe not only in Slovenia, because we have been active quite a lot also in the southeastern Europe, let's call it the Balkans, and it is developing really rapidly. From the countries having almost no lockers, like 2-3 years ago, the development is really happening with with a big pace, especially, for example, in Croatia with a lot of competition. So even this market is getting very well utilized and occupied with lockers, as we see in other countries.
But why do you think that this locker movement is taking place? Is this sort of trendy, or do carriers see that this is more feasible method delivery?
Well, it all started with cost optimization, that's for sure. The convenience is only starting to appear, in my opinion, as the locker density is growing. At first, again, it was the cost optimization. If you remember, 5 or so years ago, it was very popular to have 100, 200 compartments and lockers really from very very far away. And right now, when the network are becoming more and more dense, it also addresses convenience. So even if that was secondary, if you want it or not, it is there. It is happening. But of course, the cost optimization is the force that was driving the development. There's no question about that, in my opinion.
Yeah, but there's in our industry there is a constant debate that how long is slipper's distance, and I can say that my home locker is now 200 meters away. Before that it was 500 meters, and again now I can say for sure that locker is close enough so that I don't think that I have a problem, in a sense that when it's 500 meters away, you still have to plan, you still have to schedule the visit to the locker, but with 200 meters it's no brainer at all, but it takes time to reach everybody in 200 meters radius. So I agree with you that we are in the beginning only.
Yeah, that is definitely happening, and what is slipper's distance is really a discussion. There's no real answer about it. Most probably it is not. If not, we should not quantify it by meters, but maybe with the ability to do it on the way. So I don't know, leaving home, coming home, without any just special trip, just in order to pick up the parcel. That would be the start of the convenience. However, we have had a lot of discussions previously. We also do believe strongly that the most convenient locker is the one that is sitting on my doorstep, which is either a residential locker or even a home parcel box for private houses, which eventually I believe will happen. There are various reasons for that. One is on one end the customers asking for that and maybe even willing to pay for that convenience, and on the other end, occupying a lot of space with public lockers. It means that eventually we may run out of space or need to place some regulation to not, let's say, ruin our urban environment, having I don't know 5 or so lockers of various providers of various colors sitting in every street, because any private or residential locker will definitely be much more integrated into the environment, because everybody takes care of how his house or his building looks like. And on the third part, it is also that it's much easier to secure a place for a residential locker compared to, I don't know, several public lockers of several providers. But it is a new area I'm opening right now.
Yeah. But talking about the residential lockers or the sleepers distance, I sort of think that the number of parcel lockers is a function of parcel volumes. Nobody is investing into the location where there is no volume, and this is the reason why a lot of the residential lockers are not flying, or that the residential lockers are not flying yet. There is not enough volumes for those locations yet, so the delivery, whether parcel delivery or additional service delivery, has to grow in order to justify a residential and sleeper distance lockers.
Yeah, the volume definitely needs to grow, and investing into the locker. It's also if you speak of private or residential ones, it completely changes the position. What we see in Europe here is that mostly carriers, last mile companies, are investing in their locker networks, and if you have your locker at your slippers distance, like you mentioned, 200 meters, why would you invest in your residential one? Because it's already close enough. So maybe on one end we are a bit spoiled here. If you look in other parts of the world, namely Asia, you would see a lot of residential lockers there, because most probably the main reason was they had to invest in it because parcel volumes were there, but there were no public lockers available. So it's more the chicken and the egg problem. And this is also, there's always a discussion when residential locker may happen also in Europe. And yeah, you're right. If you have the public locker close enough, why would you worry or have this burden to invest in one? True to a certain point, but on the other end, we will also see imposing limitations by cities, states, in order to remove several lockers of several providers from the streets, and we are already seeing cases like, for example, in Stockholm, etc. So it may come. The only question is when. The second reason for that may also be some kind of let's call it law enforcement, because as we all know, parcel volumes are decreasing rapidly. On the other end, everything that is left letter volumes are decreasing and parcel volumes are increasing.
I was a bit surprised, but I didn't mention to interrupt you.
Yeah, sorry. Letter volumes decreasing, and of course, parcel. The only thing that is left are parcels. So there are initiatives within the Universal Postal Organization and elsewhere to enforce that every household should have some kind of a parcel receiving device box, just in a sense that it is obligation by the law for every household to have a mailbox where all the letters can be delivered. So that may also be a reasonable trigger, or a trigger to grow residential and private lockers in much faster pace than it is right now. So there's quite a lot open, and we'll see interesting development here.
When we're talking about those designated operators or national carriers, then I have quite an unpopular stand on that. I think that they should not compete with private carriers with city parcel delivery and parcel lockers, but concentrate on the rural areas, because if we are talking about what is the country's or the government's obligation, number one is to provide equal opportunities to everybody, and right now in almost every country, rural home delivery or parcel delivery is whether not accessible at all, or it's much more costly. So I think that national carriers should start projects all around Europe to cover rural areas with parcel lockers and provide the same life quality as in cities.
So kind of in a sense of universal postal service, to have like a universal parcel locker service or parcel service.
Exactly.
Yeah, we see cases like that already in certain countries. For example, Luxembourg is such a case where you would see Luxembourg Post delivering throughout the countries, while other carriers may be delivering just Luxembourg City and outsourcing parcel deliveries to rural areas to Luxembourg Post. So on one end, it is already happening based on commercial interests of certain parties, and it may not always be the only trigger. So providing the infrastructure for parcel deliveries, I think, is something that should be enforced one way or another, and it should become a part of the national infrastructure. So as it was, that it doesn't matter whether you live in on the top of the highest hill in the country or in the biggest city, you would still be receiving mail on a regular basis. I think something like this should be enabled for everyone in order to have equal service. Everybody's paying taxes, so there should be a model that we find in here. Or even if we have the parallel to the telecommunications, optical network building to cover up every village in the country is always subsidized, because there's no commercially viable project. So either having a service there, or maybe even having the locker network that is available or open to other carriers would help a lot.
Let's talk now a little bit about technology, because the technology and software development is a vital part of the last mile delivery, and it seems that now the competition is turning to the autonomous battery-based lockers for several reasons. Do you feel the same?
Yes, I would say finally. Because speaking from my personal perspective, or from the perspective of our company, Direct for Me, we have been the believers of autonomous lockers since day one, actually, before we even knew that these are autonomous lockers. They bring so many benefits. There's so much talk about it. Everybody is looking at it, seeing it, and the only real question I have here is when there will be some first major projects starting to happen, major networks based just on autonomous lockers. Of course, we have seen huge developments by, for example, PostNord, by having several thousands or even tens of thousands of for example, Swebox autonomous lockers in place. but the rest of not only Europe but the world has been a bit reluctant and hesitating. What I see here is that maybe autonomous lockers so far were a bit ahead of time, especially if you look at the previous case or even direct from me lockers up to now. They were always mobile phone operated, and there was always a certain group of people that was a bit reluctant about it. Will it work? Why do I need to do it? And they compared it to entering PIN over PIN pad or touchscreen or whatever, which is quite natural or similar to, I don't know, ATMs or gates or entrance doors, what everybody can do. I think even that second thought is now losing its credibility, because we have seen huge developments of autonomous lockers in the market that have all the features of traditional ones, and that I think will really speed up and also encourage other carriers, network operators to invest and to build up or expand their networks with autonomous lockers. Because on one end, the user experience is the same. On the other end, they can utilize locations that they previously were not able to due to various reasons, or whether it was special preparations, cabling, foundations, or they were even too big, because usually autonomous lockers are quite compact. And this also goes hand in hand with the philosophy of building up high-density networks. And to achieve that, autonomous compact lockers are actually essential. We will not achieve this goal without autonomous lockers.
Okay, and where the potential customers can see you, I believe you will joining the Post and Parcel Expo with your lockers.
Oh yes, we are actually having quite busy fall this year. Attending on various events. Parcel and Post Expo is probably the most important one, because we are launching the new generation of our autonomous lockers. We just added the what we call Direct for Smart locker, which is a full featured locker, but still running on batteries, solar power, and bringing all the benefits of our existing locker line, only adding the user experience. So it's up to either carriers or users to choose whether they want to use PIN pad, they want to use barcode, QR code reader, or a mobile phone to operate them. And Parcel and Post Expo will definitely be the biggest show we are attending this fall. Apart from that, we are also attending the Leaders in Logistics Last Mile event in London on October 9th. And even before that, the first opportunity to meet us is the Better Mile meetup in Berlin on 9/11 this year. I believe you are also there, Andre. We are speaking in the same session. So quite a lot of opportunities, and we will be happy to disclose more details in person.
Absolutely, and as you understood, you have several occasions to meet with Tadej and direct from me. So thank you for that short interview, and see you soon in Berlin.
Thank you. See you, Andre, and also we welcome you, all of you, to visit or contact us.